Hello, Shalom. Welcome to day 22 of the Daily Bread. We'll be reading in Genesis 29, Judges 4, Psalms 28 and 29, Proverbs 22. We're going to take a break from Matthew, and we're going to read 2 John. Once again, we'll be in the Scriptures, 2009 version. We're reading chapter 29, and it's on page 29. And Jacob lifted up his feet and came to the land of the sons of the east. And he looked and saw a well in the field, and saw 3 flocks of sheep lying by it. For out of that well they watered the flocks, and a large stone was on the well's mouth. And all the flocks would be gathered there. And then they rolled the stone from the mouth's well and water sheep, and put the stone back in its place on the well's mouth. So Jacob said to them, My brothers, where are you from? And they said, We are from Haran. And he said to them, Do you know Laban, son of Nahor? And they said, We know him. So he said to them, Is he well? And they said, Well, and see, his daughter Rahel is coming with the sheep. And he said, See, it is still high today, not the time for the livestock to be gathered together. Water the sheep and go and feed them. And they said, We are not allowed until all the flocks are gathered together. And they have rolled the stone from the well's mouth, and we shall water the sheep. While he was still speaking with them, Rahel came with her father's sheep, and she was a shepherdess. And it came to be that Jacob saw Rahel, the daughter of Laban his mother's brother, and the sheep of Laban his mother's brother, that Jacob went near and rolled the stone from the well's mouth, and watered the flock of Laban's his mother's brother. And Jacob kissed Rahel, and lifted up his voice, and wept. And when Jacob told Rahel that he was her father's relative, and that he was Rebekah's son, she ran and told her father. And it came to be, when Laban heard the report about Jacob, his sister's son, that he ran to meet him, and embraced him, and kissed him, and brought him to his house. Then he told Laban all these matters. And Laban said to him, You are indeed my bone and flesh, and my flesh. And he stayed with him for a new moon. And Laban said to Jacob, Because you are my relative, should you therefore serve me for naught? Let me know what should be your wages. And Laban had 2 daughters. The daughter of the elder was Leah, and the name of the younger was Rahel. And Leah's eyes were weak, but Rahel's eyes were beautiful of form and of beautiful appearance. And Jacob loved Rahel. So he said, Let me serve you 7 years for Rahel, your younger daughter. And Laban said, It is better that I give her to you than that I should give her to another man. Stay with me. So Jacob served 7 years for Rahel, and they seemed to him but a few days, because of the love he had for her. Then Jacob said to Laban, Give me my wife, for my days are complete, and let me go into her. And Laban gathered all the men of the place, and made a feast. And it came to be in the evening that he took Leah his daughter, and brought her to Jacob, and he went into her. And Laban gave his female servant Zilpah to his daughter Leah as a female servant. And in the morning it came to be that, see, it was Leah. So he said to Laban, What is this you have done to me? What Was it not for Rahel that I served you? Why then did you deceive me? And Laban said, It is not done this way in our place, to give the younger before the firstborn. Complete the week of this one, then we give you this one too, for the service which you shall serve with me still another 7 years. And Jacob did so, and completed her week. Then he gave him his daughter, Rahel, too, as wife. And Laban gave his female servant, Bilhah, to his daughter Rahel as a female servant. And he went into Rahel, and he also loved Rahel more than Leah. And he served with Laban another 7 years. And Yahweh saw that Leah was unloved, and he opened her womb. But Rahel was barren. That's a theme here. And Leah conceived and bore a son, and she called his name Reuben. For she said, For Yahweh has looked on my affliction, because now my husband is going to love me. And she conceived again and bore a son, and said, Because Yahweh has heard that I am unloved, he gave me this son too. And she called his name Simon. Now she conceived again and bore a son, and said, Now this time my husband is joined to me, because I have bore him 3 sons. So his name was called Levi. And she conceived again and bore a son, and said, Now I praise Yahweh. So she called his name Judah, and she ceased bearing. And the end of Genesis 29. Turning our attention to Judges 4, page 256. And when Edu was dead, the children of Israel again did evil in the eyes of Yahweh. Therefore Yahweh sold them into the hand of Jabin, the sovereign of Canaan, who reigned at Hazor. And the commander of his army was Sisera, who was dwelling in Harosheth Haggonim. And the children of Israel cried out to Yahweh, because he had 900 chariots of iron, and for 20 years he harshly oppressed the children of Israel. And Deborah, a prophetess, the wife of Lebaoth, was ruling Israel at that time. And she was dwelling under the palm tree of Deborah between Raham and Beth-el in the mountains of Ephraim. And the children of Israel came up to her for right ruling. And she sent and called for Barak, son of Amalek, from Kadesh in Naphtali, and said to him, Has not Yahweh Elohim Israel commanded, Go, and you shall draw towards Mount Tabor, and shall take with you 10,000 men of the sons of Naphtali and the sons of Zebulun? And I shall draw unto you Sisera, the commander of Jabin's army, with his chariots and his company, at the wadi of Wizon, and shall give him into your hand. And Barak said to her, If you go with me, then I shall go. But if you do not go with me, I do not go. And she said, I shall certainly go with you, only there shall be no esteem for you, no glory for you in the journey you are taking. For Yahweh is going to sell Sisera into the hand of a woman. So Deborah arose and went with Barak to Kadesh. And Barak called Zebulun and Naphtali to Kadesh, and he went up 10,000 men under his command, and Deborah went up with him. And Neber, the Kiddite of the children of Hoab, the father-in-law of Moshe, had separated himself from the Canaanites, and pitched his tent near the terebinth tree at the Sanim, which is beside Kadesh. And they reported to Sisera that Barak, son of Abedin, had come up to Mount Tabor. So Sisera called all his chariots, 900 chariots of iron, and all the people who were with him, from Hareth Hagmon to the Wadi Kuzan. And Deborah said to Barak, Rise up, for this is the day in which Yahweh has given Sisera into your hand. Has not Yahweh gone out before you? And Barak went down from Mount Tabor with 10,000 men after him. And Yahweh destroyed Sisera and all his chariots and all his army with the edge of the sword before Barak. And Sisera leaped from his chariot and fled away on foot. But Barak pursued the chariots and the army as far as Hath Haragamon. And all the army of Sisera fell by the edge of the sword, not one was left. Sisera, meanwhile, had fled on foot to the tent of Yael, the wife of Heber the Gittite, for there was peace between Jabin, sovereign of Hazor, and the house of Heber Gittite. And Yael went out to meet Sisera, and said to him, Turn aside, my master, turn aside to me, do not fear. So he turned aside with her into the tent, and she covered him with a blanket. And he said to her, Please give me a little water to drink, for I am thirsty. So she opened a bottle of milk, and gave him a drink, and covered him. And he said to her, Stand by the door of the tent, and it shall be, if anyone comes and asks, you say, Is there a man in there? You shall say no. But Yael, Heber's wife, took a tent peg, and took a hammer in her hand, and went softly to him, and drove the peg into the side of his head, and it went down into the ground, for he was fast asleep and exhausted, and died. And see, Barak pursued Sisera. Yael came out to meet him, and said to him, Come, let me show you the man whom you are seeking. And when he went into her tent, there lay Sisera dead with a peg in the side of his head. And on that day Elohim humbled Jabin, sovereign of Canaan, in the presence of the children of Israel. And the hand of children of Israel grew stronger against Jabin, sovereign of Canaan, until they had cut off Jabin, sovereign of Canaan. All right, we're finished off Judges 4. We'll be reading Psalms 28 and 29, be found on page 661. I cry to you, O Yahweh, my rock. Do not be deaf to me, for if you are silent to me, I shall be like those who go down to the pit. Hear the voice of my prayers when I cry to you, when I lift up my hands toward the set-apart speaking place. Do not draw me away with the wrong and with the workers of wickedness who speak peace to their neighbors, but evil is in their hearts. Give to them according to their deeds and according to the evil of their practices. Give to them according to the work of their hands. Bring back to them what they deserve, because they do not heed the works of Yahweh, nor the works of his hand. He throws them down. He does not build them up. Blessed be Yahweh, because he has heard the voice of my prayers. Yahweh is my strength and my shield. My heart has trusted in him, and I have been helped. Therefore my heart exalts, and with my song I thank him. Yahweh is the strength of his people, and he is the stronghold of deliverance of his anointed. Save your people and bless your inheritance, and be their shepherd, and bear them up forever. Psalms 29. Ascribe to Yahweh, O you sons of the mighty. Ascribe to Yahweh esteem and glory and strength. Ascribe to Yahweh the glory of his name. Bow yourselves to Yahweh in the splendor of set-apartness. The voice of Yahweh is over the waters. The El of his esteem thunders. Yahweh is over many waters. The voice of Yahweh is with power. The voice of Yahweh is with greatness. The voice of Yahweh is breaking the cedars. Yahweh is breaking the cedars of Lebanon in pieces, and he makes them skip like a calf. Lebanon and Syrian like a young wild ox. The voice of Yahweh cuts through the flames of fire. The voice of Yahweh shakes the wilderness. Yahweh shakes the wilderness of Kadesh. The voice of Yahweh makes the deer give birth and strips the forest bare. And in his heckle everyone says, esteem, glory. Yahweh sat enthroned at the flood, and Yahweh sits as sovereign forever. Yahweh gives strength to his people. Yahweh blesses his people with peace. Proverbs 22, found on page 749. A good name is preferable to great riches. Favor, blessing, is better than silver and gold. The rich and the poor meet together. Yahweh is the maker of them all. A clever one foresees evil and hides himself, but the simple go on and are punished. The reward for humility is the fear of Yahweh. Riches and esteem and life. Thorn snares are in the way of the perverse. He who guards his life keeps far away from them. Train up a child in the way he should go. Even when he is old, he turns not away from it. The rich rules over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender. He who sows unrighteousness reaps trouble, and the rod of his wealth perishes. He who has a good eye is blessed, for he gives his bread to the poor. Cast out the scoffer, and strife goes out, and contention and shame cease. He who loves cleanness of heart, whose speech is pleasant, a sovereign is his friend. The eyes of Yahweh shall watch over knowledge, but he overthrows the words of the treacherous. The lazy one says, there is a lion outside. I am going to be murdered in the streets. The mouth of a strange woman is a deep pit. The one denounced by Yahweh falls in there. Folly is bound up in the heart of a child. The rod of discipline drives it far from him. One oppresses the poor to increase his wealth. Another gives to the rich only to come to poverty. Incline your ear and hear the words of the wise, and apply your heart to my knowledge. For they are pleasant. If you guard them within you, let all of them be ready on your lips, that your trust might be in Yahweh. I caused you to know today, even you. Have I not previously written to you of counsels and knowledge? To cause you to know the certainty of the words of the truth, to return words of truth to those who send to you. Do not rob the poor because he is poor, and oppress not the afflicted at the gate. For Yahweh pleads their cause, and shall plunder those who plunder them. Make no friendship with one given to wrath, and do not go with a man of rage, lest you learn his ways and find yourself ensnared. Do not be one of those who shakes hands in a pledge, one of those who are a guarantor for debts. If you do not have the means to pay, why should he take away your bed from under you? Do not move the ancient boundary which your fathers have set. Do you see a man who is skilled in his work? He does stand before sovereigns. He does not stand before obscure ones. Okay, we'll be in 2 John. It's on page 1195 of the scriptures. It's only 13 verses. The elder of chosen Cura and her children, whom I love in truth, and not only I, but also all those who have known the truth, because of the truth which stays in us and shall be with us forever. Favor, compassion, Peace be with you, for Elohim the Father, and from the Master Yeshua Messiah, the Son of the Father, in truth and love. I rejoice greatly because I found some of your children walking in truth, as we have received the command from the Father. And now I ask you, Kira, not as though I wrote a fresh command to you, but that which we have had from the beginning, that we love one another. And this is the love, that he walks according to his commands. This is the command, that as you have heard from the beginning, you should walk in it. Because many who are leading astray went out into the world, do not confess Yeshua Messiah is coming in the flesh. This one is he who is leading astray and the anti-Messiah. See to yourself that we do not lose what we work for, but that we might receive a complete reward. Everyone who is transgressing and not staying in the teaching of Messiah does not possess Elohim. The one who stays in the teaching of Messiah possesses both the Father and the Son. If anyone comes to you and does not bring this teaching, do not receive him into your house, nor greet him, for he who greets him shares in his wicked works. Having much to write to you, I did not wish to do so with paper and ink, but I expect to come to you and speak face to face, so that your joy might be complete. The children of your chosen sister greet you. Amen. Shalom. Make it a great day. Read your Bible.